Right, go.
Oh, that's cool. I can see the screen. Your
Yeah.
screen.
Yeah.
So, hello
That's
everyone.
really cool.
Today we've a very special guest. So, how about you introduce yourself?
Hi guys. My name is Yaya Hranda. I'm from the Democratic Republic of Congo. I moved to Ireland when I was 5 years of age, and I'm excited to speak with you guys and to give you guys a better in-depth on what it's like being a Black woman today in Ireland.
Of course.
And thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for
Thank you
getting
for
on.
having me. Sorry.
Thank you so much for coming on to be our guest today.
Perfect. Thank you.
So, obviously, you know a lot more than we do about this. So, why don't you tell us all about it?
Um, where would you like me to start off?
Uh, when was the first time you might have experienced racism in Ireland?
So my first time was when I was around 11 years of age. So because I'm fostered by two white parents, it was very clear to me that people would always stare at me. They would just pass remarks to my parents because I think like 10, 11 years ago, it was very different to seeing two white people with a Black child. So
Mm.
that was very obvious. And one time we were on a beach, and a man had asked me to take a photograph for his partner, and I kind of didn't realize why he wanted to take a photograph with me. So he ended up asking my parents for a photograph, and because he wanted to because his girlfriend was from Slovakia or Croatia, something like that, and she wanted a photograph so she can share with her friends and family that she's seen a Black person. So I was more like to her an alien rather than a person. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's mad.
that's horrible.
Well, I guess with Irish history, like we didn't really experience other cultures.
Mm-hmm.
So up until recently, even. So I don't know. That's kind of weird that actually happened. That's
Yeah.
that's
It's horrible that
that's
happened.
horrible, actually.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
But like I think to be honest as well, I was like where we would go on holidays. I was probably the only Black child, the Black person in that whole small little town.
Mm.
Yeah, but still, I think it still wasn't okay. Like, 'cause, like you wouldn't ask someone else for a photograph of them if you didn't know them, would you?
No, no, you
You know
wouldn't
what I mean?
ever. No, of course not.
So, like since then, do you think it's gotten better or worse, like in terms of what you've experienced?
From that age, no. Oh my God, no. I think it's a lot more, like in terms of like in the sporting world, because like obviously like being a woman in sports it's tough as it is, but
Yeah.
then like being a Black woman, I experienced a lot of people calling me like the N word, or I was often called a monkey. I was um, told I didn't belong there. I think I think in Ireland I think it's a lot more casual
Mm.
um, kind of remarks, which still isn't okay. Like people I think are a lot more ignorant here. I don't know.
Yeah,
Um.
that seems to be.
So would you say it would be worse here than in the UK or in the States?
Oh no, I think no, I don't think Ireland is as bad as what it is in the UK. Like I've heard a lot more, you know, other people's story, and they're like a lot worse here. I think the reason why like Ireland isn't as bad because I think because like our police here aren't armed.
Mm.
That makes any
Yeah.
Which
sense.
is
No.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
No.
mean?
Yeah, we agree with that 100%.
That
Like, yeah.
I love that they're not armed. Like
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
that's
I've never had a negative experience with a guard.
yeah. Say
Thank God.
like yeah, like that. Like that's one thing I'm blessed with. Like I feel safer with the police around, which is something that I know other places aren't like that.
Mm.
yeah.
No, we get you. Yeah. In,
Jesus.
in in Ireland, is like the police. They have as much power as the people. Where in America, they are totally,
Powerless.
They have
Yeah,
so
like with the police here, it's like they have an armed response unit, but that's nothing like what they have over there,
Compared
where
to, yeah,
every officer carries a
every
gun.
police
Like,
has a gun. Yeah, that's
yeah,
definitely true.
Do you
this
think that that's something the states could try to?
Oh, like to be honest, I think no, I don't think the like America could ever do that because like you have to remove guns from the police is you also have to remove guns from the everyday person.
Yeah,
mm,
Do you know what I mean? That's the only way that would work.
a lot of people
of
there feel
course.
like they're entitled to it because of the Constitution.
Yeah,
exactly.
definitely.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
like,
Even if you took guns away from the police, some of them would probably still conceal carry. Like,
Do
Oh,
you know what
of
I mean? So
course, yeah.
like you can't, yeah, and like you can't let someone who's meant to protect us go unarmed into like potential dangerous situations.
Of course.
yeah,
but there's also the thing of if people think that, or people know that the police aren't armed, like,
They feel like they're more powerful than them.
yeah,
Yeah, no, yeah, people
like,
would definitely.
like a police officer can only come over and say like stop,
that's true.
and then like
Yeah,
you pull out like your gun,
yeah,
that's not gonna go very well.
No.
definitely.
No.
No,
Jeez,
but
yeah.
it's definitely it. I think I'm just so grateful that we're beginning to take it a lot more serious. You know,
Mm,
Yeah,
I like I feel like this society can really like have the opportunity to really push this forward, really change, you know, the future for the next generations.
yes.
yeah.
No, I agree
That's
with you on that one
we
because
definitely
we
have the power to do that
are
now. Like,
definitely the
Yeah,
first. We're definitely the first generation with technology where everybody
yeah.
knows
I
everything.
like I feel like that's like our biggest weapon. We have the ability to spread positive messages globally. You know what I
Mm, yeah, I know.
That's what this
And
podcast is.
exactly.
mean?
exactly. We all have the means to stand up against shit like that now. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mm,
But like what's starting to really bug me is I feel like I'm seeing a lot more negative like podcasts and people going on Facebook, going on lives, having conversations. And also I recently came across a YouTube video that this guy is trying to like starting to make this about blacks super what's the word
supremacy is it?
yeah. I'm
mm,
like, it's not about that. He's really trying to make it about that. It's like we don't want me versus you. Like we want we and us.
mm.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
No, I get you.
exactly. Yeah,
And I mean that kind of plays into the whole like the all lives matter thing. It's not that.
Yeah.
It's that matter is the basic
Mm-hmm.
it
principle
yeah, it's
principle
not
of
saying that your life
what.
doesn't matter. Like if we see like Black Lives Matter, we're not taking it as okay, we're white guys, our lives don't
No.
matter. No,
exactly. Yeah,
I think
We're
the best
saying
way
we
someone
all,
explained
yeah,
it to me was think of someone's having a heart attack and
yeah,
they're into surgery and trying to fix the heart, and then another doctor comes over and is like, what about the other organs?
yeah.
Like
That's
the other
true.
organs are fine. One's having a heart attack.
Mm,
You got to fix that.
Yeah.
yeah,
no, I get you. No, yeah,
Well,
no.
I think what's also kind of like um stopping the movement because like I am seeing a lot of black people who are saying that racism doesn't even exist, and that I think that's kind of damaging to what we're trying to achieve here. Because if people are saying, oh, other black people are saying that, oh, it like racism doesn't exist, then maybe that's the case. You know,
No.
like
Yeah.
yeah.
have you heard of Candice Owens?
Candace
She's
Owens.
Yeah, she is an American politician, and I've never come across anything as much toxic as what that is.
Mhm.
She just
And
like she like discussing how racism is the fight of our ancestors, and how it isn't on our priority list, and how Black people need fathers and better education. But
Yeah, she says
what?
some dodgy stuff. Just reading her Twitter
Yeah,
now, she says some really bad stuff.
Yeah.
yeah. But like to me, it just like it's like what she's saying is relevant for now, right? But what's causing these symptoms? Do you know what I mean?
mhm. No, yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's I think it's easy to like to talk about the surface problem, but I want to break through what's like the bottom surface.
Hmm.
Yeah, because like I feel like nobody really wants to go in depth with it, and that's why it's so
It's a
big.
fear. It's a fear factor. It is.
It is a
People
fear
are
factor.
actually looking into it. Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. Yeah.
We obviously talk about
I,
racism a lot in the West. Do you think like in the East it's a problem as well? Like say if you're going over to
Um,
China, Japan, Vietnam, places like that.
I think so. Yeah, I definitely do that. It's like it's very hard to speak on that because I don't want to obviously offend anybody, you know.
of course.
Um,
Yeah.
Of course.
but I've often faced racism like from Asian people and that kind of way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
they just kind of have this like, oh, I'm better than you kind of a way.
Mm.
Like I'm kind of like some like I would say 80% of the time it's always been from like I don't want to sound like mean, but white people. I don't want to come across mean or anything like that.
No, that's not coming
Just
across
putting it
me.
out
That's
there.
Well, yeah.
facts.
Yeah.
No,
Don't worry about it.
But
of course
then
not. It's fine.
the rest of the time is from like say like Asian people or even Indian people.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Who are still Asian.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of like, oh,
Yeah.
it's
Sorry, go on.
no, I'm done. You go ahead.
Just
Sorry, there, dude.
I know oh it's not even close to being the same thing, but just when you were saying about people that take pictures of you when you were younger,
Yeah.
I remember my dad goes over to do a competition in China every year. He's an archer, so big archer group to go over. One guy there is 6'6", and he's he's fairly big,
Yeah.
and he's Dutch, but like naturally his skin color is darker anyway. But when he gets tanned, it's even darker. But yeah, he's walking around China, and people are taking pictures with him the whole time. So I guess some cultures don't get to see people from outside their culture, so they'd
Mm.
be kind of like,
But
"Hey,
like
look who I
I feel
met."
like that's a bit different though because like he's a grown ass woman like a grown ass man. Sorry, but like I was a child.
Well,
Yeah.
I obviously said like it's not the same thing,
Yeah.
but yeah,
I feel like maybe like is he like well known person? Like obviously he likes
no, no, no,
Oh,
he's not.
oh
No,
okay.
just like they're interested because he looks different. Wondering like maybe a lot of people feel that way when they see people that not of their culture. I don't know what I'm saying.
No, yeah, no. Like I definitely get what you're coming from, like, but um,
But you were a kid. Like this was fucked up.
Yeah.
Like imagine doing that today.
like
Oh yeah.
What the hell would be wrong with someone doing that?
You'd be fucking thrown in jail if you were caught taking a
Oh
picture of
man,
a
you'd be
child that you
slaughtered.
didn't know.
I'm
Honestly, God.
from looking at your YouTube. You have a kid, don't you?
yeah, he's almost 2 years of age. Yeah,
What's
Imagine
his name?
someone did that to him.
yeah. I think I get very upset. Like I would probably like blow that out of proportion. I'd make it a big thing because I think
Oh, you'd freak. Like you'd have
like
to.
literally he's not like a tool. He is a human being. He's like you and me. Like he bleeds the same, breathes the same.
Yeah.
Of course. No, yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously we know like racism isn't like in people naturally. Like it's introduced from outside sources.
Yeah, it's from like what we see, what we read.
Yeah.
It's I feel like it's kind of like low key, like ingrained, no, actually high key ingrained into us from centuries. You
Mm.
know, it's
Yeah.
it's 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 almost part of our DNA, almost.
Yeah.
You know.
Mhm.
Do you feel like cultures who've had slavery before or cultures who've uh, were involved in the slave trade would be more racist or less racist? Like the States or the UK or France?
Yeah, probably a lot more racist. Yeah, because I think like they still think that they have this power.
Mm.
You know.
Yeah, like I keep saying the States. I'm not trying to shit in the States
Yeah.
or the
That is
UK,
something.
but it is a problem there. Like
Yeah,
you can't deny that.
massive in the states though. Like at the moment.
Like
Yeah.
Jesus, yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
very true.
I think the UK is almost there. You know what I mean?
Really. Mm.
It's like it's not. It's like I think the UK it isn't filmed as much as it would be in the US.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know?
How do you feel about people? I think do you see that video? They put the statue into the harbor.
I was just about to mention the statue that they put into the
Yeah.
harbour yesterday. Yeah.
How did
Wait,
you
what
feel about
happened?
that?
There was I can't remember where exactly it was, but there was like a statue of a slave trader somewhere in
It's
England.
not Oliver Cromwell. It's someone
No,
else.
it's someone else. But they tore it down completely. Like,
I'll
Mm.
find out who the person was again.
yeah,
Edward Colston, British slave trader. They tore down the statue, threw it into the waters where he used to dock the boats to bring in the slaves.
Oh my gosh!
Ah.
I didn't actually know that even existed. Oh my
Really?
god! No.
Oh, it's been in the headlines
Mm.
for a couple big news outlets.
Okay,
No,
that's kind of progress, right?
yeah.
yeah, it
Wow.
is. Yeah,
And they're trying to get rid of the one of what's his name now? Oh my god.
Isn't there one in New York they want to get rid of? Or did they
Is there
already
one
Um,
get
in
rid of
New
it?
I'm thinking. Oh,
I
oh
obviously
my
don't know the
god.
names.
What's the guy from World War II, lads? I can't think of his name.
Churchill.
Winston Churchill.
Winston
Yeah.
Churchill. Yeah, they're trying to get
Yeah.
rid of his statue now as well because he made a load of
Oh.
racist remarks.
Like
But like
he,
I think that one would be a lot more controversial.
That
Oh
one would
yeah,
be very
definitely.
controversial, I
You know
think.
what I mean?
realistically, he won World War II for the
Yeah,
Mm.
do you know
Allies,
what I mean? So
but he also starved people in India because he didn't like them. He called them a beast that had to be tamed.
oh
Yeah, he was a bit of a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, he was a huge advocate of. Is it called eugenics, where you think one race is better than the other?
oh my gosh. But like
Yeah,
what's
he
funny
was a
is that
huge
like
advocate of that.
the media would never like really show that side. Do you know what I mean?
That's up
No,
to the
they
Yeah,
weren't.
people to show it then.
they're gonna show like the savior side.
Mm.
Like, oh, he was this great person, but then like I feel like every kind of like people like that, I feel like they all have this dark side to them.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is fairly common. Like
It's almost like a
that they
trend.
would.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's
But one
when they pull
comment
that
I actually
statue
got.
down, like the sorry, go on.
No, you finished. You finished. Sorry.
Uh, yeah, but I felt like when they pulled the statue down and threw it in the river, like obviously, like people were starting to listen, but like after that, people are gonna be like, all right, we need to take it seriously, like
Mm.
Yeah.
because they're not just gonna do that because they're mad, like they're gonna do it because they want people to hear.
To notice what's happening. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah,
And there is a load of ways like to help. If you do live in Ireland, like, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a lot more. Yeah. I feel like
Mm.
Ireland can be like the front line of showing other countries what you can do when you when you start to accept and start to see everybody as the same. I think
Mhm.
Ireland has that
yeah,
potential to become one of the first countries to do that. You
Mm.
know, like it
No, I
is
get you.
like it is still a growing country. You know,
Mm.
and it's still
yeah.
quite young, so it has so much potential. But whether
And
people will listen
like
or not,
it's a
I don't know.
very small.
Yeah,
It wouldn't be like as big as trying to change like what's going on in the States or the UK
yeah,
or something like that.
definitely. I feel
But
Mm.
it
like
would be a start.
yes.
I
Yeah.
think we were in religion one day, and my teacher said it best. We were talking about should violence be in the news, right?
Hmm.
And we were having this debate, and he said, I don't want to watch the news and see someone, hear about someone being stabbed and like all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah,
And then someone in my class came up with the argument, and they said, but sure, Ireland, we're all this little community. If someone's stabbed, that's
we want to know. Yeah,
exactly because we're such a small country that we actually can be classed as like a small little family.
yeah, actually, yeah,
I'd like to
definitely.
think.
well.
I'd
One
like to
thing I
think.
love about Ireland is I can go to Dublin for a day, and there's no doubt that I will meet someone I've met before,
Yeah,
or
no,
I'll
it's
see
Yes,
someone that I've
yes,
met
definitely.
before.
mm,
That's so true. Like
It's
it's so
like
small. Like
yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
or like you meet someone and they'd have like a shared experiences as you, and then they know somebody else, and then it's like a ripple effect. It's so nice
Yeah,
to see that.
you'd
Yeah.
meet someone, you find out they know someone you know.
Yeah, I love. I
That's
like.
a small
I love
Ireland
when that
is.
happens.
Yeah, no. Ireland
What I think is mad about it is that like what you're saying with the headlines and stuff. Like if someone got shot in the US, like it's not gonna
Oh
be
yeah,
like a big headlines thing.
it'd
But
be
if
like
someone got shot here, it would
another
be
one shot.
everywhere.
Mm.
But
It's
thing is,
on
like, it
RTE.
happens
It's on.
so often there, and
Yeah,
because we're not supposed to have firearms here,
Yeah, the
it's like so many different laws are broken as well as that. Like,
yeah,
obviously, you can't shoot somebody. Like, obviously that broke a law, but having the gun broke the law. Having the ammunition broke the law.
yeah,
Blah blah blah.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
it's a way bigger deal here because we're not supposed to have guns. So
exactly.
the fear is there of, okay, well, if this guy had a gun, who else has a gun?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
yeah.
100%.
Mm,
Well, like
it's just-
I am seeing that they're trying to is it the 27th commandment
Mm-hmm.
or 28th commandment where it's something where if let me just see if I can
Is it not the amendment?
yeah, the
yeah,
amendment.
27th Amendment, Ireland.
I think it's 27th Amendment. I've heard about that
Yes, it's
recently. Yeah.
yeah, because like
prohibits
even
the law of any decrease salary of members of Congress from taking. What?
Is that right? I'm not sure.
Maybe CR.
Anyway, it's
Wait,
some
what?
amendment. Go on.
it's I think it's something where like if you're not born in Ireland or you spend like several years here,
Oh shit! Yeah,
that one that you can get
yeah. It's the 27 Amendment. All right. It
yeah
says
because I have
27. Yeah,
yeah
go on.
because personally I've been here obviously since I was 5 years of age and I still have a huge struggle with trying to prove that I'm Irish, trying to get an Irish citizenship.
Jesus.
Like even though my biological father, who's only here 6 years, already has his, but because I was fostered,
Mm.
right?
Yeah. No.
I don't have that entitlement, even though my biological father got
Mm.
his own, citizenship.
Of
It's
course.
and that's it's a huge struggle.
Mm.
It's and even like I've seen like racism like in these kind of like places where you like immigration. I've often like I say eight times out of ten I often come out there feeling sick to my stomach how you know these other immigration people are being treated. You
Mm.
know, like there was like
Mm.
one particular moment where I was just waiting in line, and the woman she was a white woman. She came out right, and she was like, "You, what do you want here? You, what do you want here? You, what do you want here?" In front of every single body. Do you know what I mean? Like I've
Jesus.
never like you could see like she just didn't care about your problem.
No.
You know,
That's horrible. Like.
Which isn't fair. It's completely
No.
fucked up.
Yeah,
We fucked
that
up.
is
like
fucked.
I'm just looking at something there for the. You said the 28th Amendment? Was it?
I think it's yeah I think it's that. I think it's that.
27th, I have it here. Look, the 27th Amendment of the Constitution Act 2004, previously Bill number 15 of 2004, amended the Constitution of Ireland to limit the constitutional right to Irish citizenship of individuals born on the island of Ireland to the children of Irish citizens.
It
Like,
looks like
even the phrase in
only
that is fucking
only
Yeah.
bonkers.
County Donegal was against it, from what I'm seeing here.
Really.
And it was the only no, it was the only majority no. North and South Donegal.
That's it's just
But
That's
obviously,
mad.
like, there was places where it was like 30%, 40%, 49%. Barry, your mic.
Dara, man, fix your
Oh
mic.
shit, sorry.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry about that. Alright,
that's
go on.
fine.
Sorry to
No,
everyone's
no,
ears.
no, it's okay. It's okay. He's a complete fuck up. Go on.
Fuck you, Thomas.
Oh my god.
You're an asshole.
I don't care. Now, go
Like
on.
even how they even phrase that is just like oof.
No, yeah,
Like,
it's sickening.
Well
2004, like, what the fuck is going on? Like, you'd never think you'd see something like that.
Yeah.
It's there. And I'd say there's a lot of people that don't even know about it, like,
yeah. I
which
think
makes it worse.
the more we educate people about it, the more I don't know.
Yeah, it's like that's the kind of stuff that we should be like talking about in like school and everything. Because like if
Yeah.
someone,
I don't want to talk about like complex numbers or
That,
trigonometry. I want to be talking about like ethics or history
Yeah,
or new things that are going on in the world. Like
yeah,
our education system is pretty damn flawed.
definitely.
yeah,
Yes, that's a trend with all these countries that have these big problems. Like you won't get it in a lot of Scandinavian countries because their education system has changed to revolve around like modern life more.
Mm-hmm.
So if we had something like that and we fixed our education system, might help.
You
Yeah,
know,
I remember we like even in our history classes, it would only be like pointless history that no one really cared about that want to learn. I want to learn our current history, just like history that can help us move forward. You know, kind of way.
yeah.
Yeah, I did history for the Leaving Cert, and we never talked about anything before 1918 and
Yeah,
nothing after 1950.
I was
We
Seriously?
only
saying
cared
that.
about the world wars, which is kind of weird that we only focus on those two things.
Yeah.
yeah. When
I
it's a
think it's
history
almost
class,
like
like what the fuck?
sorry, let's let him out there. I
That's
think
okay.
Kanye
Actually,
West kind of had a quote. Like he said something in an interview saying how we we focus so much on history that we almost have this built intuition that it will almost repeat itself.
Mm.
but it often does repeat itself, which is kind of scary.
But
Yeah.
we have the power to change that. You know,
Yeah.
like we could point out like,
Yeah,
okay, this happened, but how can we, make sure it doesn't happen again?
Hmm.
Sorry, just to correct
exactly.
myself there.
Yeah,
We actually learned about the Cold War as well. Only a small part of it. We also learned about the civil rights movement, but that's only one chapter.
Watch out.
Jesus
We
Christ.
do it in the States. There was a civil rights movement in Northern Ireland for Catholics, and we learned about that as well. So that just correction.
Okay.
That's fine. It's not enough
Jesus
though.
Christ.
Like,
It's
it's
Yeah,
still
definitely not enough.
need a
scandalous.
lot more than that.
Yeah. It is
Because
so.
like if you introduce this in secondary school, like
Yeah,
from like they're gonna have a way better understanding than like what we might have or like a previous generation might have.
yeah.
I
But like I
I kind of
I would
think
think
say,
that
like
yeah,
doing it in
introduce
Leaving
it to
Cert is
primary
too
school.
late, because
Primary
at that
school.
yeah,
point
like
someone's
primary
gonna
school. I
be
feel like primary school would be the
yeah
best time.
Yeah.
They kind of
I remember
slowly.
learning about. I remember learning about Martin Luther King and all that in primary school. I thought most did and like, I thought all schools did that. No.
No, we never did any of that.
Really.
no, we never did
Yeah,
that in my school.
We learned about that, and then we learned about
Sadly,
the slaves. We learned about everything in my primary school, and I thought all schools did it, and I
W-
was really surprised when I found out they didn't.
We learned about Irish suppression and like how to like try to destroy our culture and the famine, stuff like that.
yeah, shit, yeah,
That's
just
what we learned,
yeah.
which is kind of weird when
Like
you're
we learned
like
some
12.
about famine as well.
yeah, but like I think if it was introduced from a younger age, like if they knew more about it, then people would like first of all like what's going on, and
Mm.
they'd
Yeah,
know how to as well.
Hmm.
definitely 100%.
Like if you
Yeah,
start with kids and are like, okay, guys, you're you're the exact same. You're the exact same. You
Yeah.
like, come on.
Yeah,
There's no
like
reason to have any prejudice against anybody. It's not gonna help anyone. It's just gonna
any
ruin everything for
divide
everyone.
and
exactly. Yeah,
Like the things that are going on in the States wouldn't happen if people were more accepting,
Educated.
yeah,
More
educated and accepting. Yeah.
educated. People are
exactly.
so
Yeah,
uneducated about racism everywhere. Like, it's unbelievable. Like,
exactly. Yeah,
some Americans actually think that it doesn't exist. Like,
yeah.
that's bad.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Like it's like it's that like they have this ignorance about the situation. It's like no, that's the past. like it's not it's John kind of it's just it's really upsetting to see that. But like we have like the likes of like I said, Candice Owens, who is really forcing these false information.
Hmm.
she
Yeah.
had she had recently posted on her Facebook page some facts and stuff like that, and it was actually flagged as incorrect or misleading facts.
Yeah.
Do you know
Mm.
what I mean?
Um, yeah,
And she is a well-known figure, you
Mm.
know.
exactly. Yeah,
That's the also bad thing about social media and everything. There's so much fake news and there's so much online shit that everyone reads
That
and thinks it's
Yeah.
real. Then people,
that's a
But
huge
like
part of the
I feel
problem.
like
Like
yeah.
yeah,
we don't know, like, is the news telling what's right, or are people using social media wrong and trying to
Yeah.
make it out it's worse than it is, or it's not what it is?
Mm.
Like,
Sorry about that. Jeez.
it's
no,
okay,
no,
don't
she's
worry.
fine. No, she's fine. What are you saying?
Like, we could, like, the news could make it like that police are all kneeling down and doing good things, and
Yeah,
then
I
you go to
actually
social
see some
media
of that.
as like it's a riot every second of every day. Like,
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
has to be a middle
Yeah.
ground there somewhere where the truth is.
Mm.
Yeah. But like I'm following this girl actually. Do you know after they kneeled down, they were then attacked then by the exact same people who knelt down.
Wow.
I heard
You know
about
what I
that,
mean?
Jesus.
but
I think
there
it's
were
more of
so
like
many people like in different parts of the world or parts of the UK that kneeled in
yeah.
like support. Like, obviously, like, not everyone who knelt down went and attacked straight away. Obviously, there's some people who are like in different states, like, okay, yeah, this is like, I don't even want to be a cop anymore. I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
And obviously, there's people who were like, okay, let's kneel for the picture and then get them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, but
that's
that's
exactly
so
what's happening.
fucked up.
That's
Yeah,
what
it's
Yeah.
horrible.
that's police propaganda though. That's
Yeah.
isn't it? That's
Fucking
I'm pretty
rotten,
sure
like
that's what it is.
pretty
So
much. Yeah.
Just it's
it's kind of
crazy.
to see.
Like,
It's just like
the fact that can happen today, like, it's the year 2020.
Yeah,
Like, that would that have even happened in 1920?
probably
no,
not, man.
no.
They're they're trying to look good for the books.
It's
That's what they're trying to
madness.
do.
Yeah,
it's
And
in
like I
it's in
have, but
madness.
what I find so funny is like I have I follow a load of policemen on TikTok,
mm,
and they all express, their concerns and everything about when George Floyd was killed for 8 minutes.
yeah.
But I'm pretty sure, like, but then I remember I did follow one particular police officer, like, because I just kind of learned, like, from how he was speaking, like, you can tell there's something, like, he's only just using this for clout, you know. So
Okay.
I kind of, like,
Exactly.
searched him, kind of followed him a little bit, and he actually also posted I can't remember what he actually posted, but he posted, like, praising Candice Owens.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So he was kind
Yeah.
of like agreeing with her, but then saying something else on another social media account. Do you know what I mean? So
Mm, yeah. No,
Yeah.
I get you.
Jesus.
I don't know.
We lived in
Like I
fucked up
can
times,
always
don't we?
tell when people are being
Oh,
sketchy.
we
Can
live at
always
completely
tell.
fucked up times.
Yeah.
People. I don't know.
But it's not up to the government. It's not up to the police to fix this. It's down to the people.
It's up to us. Yeah.
People like us having this conversation.
Yeah.
That's where progress really happens.
Getting
Yeah.
people to
But
talk about it.
what's
You know.
yeah, yeah, definitely. What's kind of frustrating? I have been in contact with some people, like some like I'm talking to, like, specifically Irish, podcast Irish, you know, writers, and a
Yeah,
lot of
because
them are very scared to, share some stories about other people who actually have been in these situations, because, like, they don't want to seem like they're only being, like, accepted now, because, like, if you look at most of the feed, it is not culturally friendly. That
Mhm.
makes any sense.
No, yeah.
Like even though, like, they want to support, it's like they have this free practice, because, like, most of the consumers are predominantly white,
Mm.
and they don't want to
Yeah.
lose that support. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Wait.
yeah, which is
Jesus.
which is so sad to see. You know,
Mm.
It is. Yeah. Like. Oh.
like
you don't even know what to say. It's just
It's completely
what's going on at the moment.
fucked up. It is
it's
fucked up. There's no better word to
Yeah, man.
describe it. You
And
know.
yeah.
people treating it like it's some kind of
Exactly.
trend.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh my
No.
god. I absolutely that boils my blood. I see so many people posting Black Lives Matter. Oh my god. This and this. But, like, they have racist tendencies
Just
themselves, which I find
just
so
to
funny.
ask. Or sorry, go on. Sorry.
Oh no, I'm finished. Go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just going to ask. Now I have a reasonably big following on Instagram, and in the archery community, like obviously we all care about people different races and all. So I took part in what was it Blackout Tuesday? You post
Yeah,
like a black square
Like
or
a
something.
Tuesday. Yeah.
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 How did you feel about people doing that? Does that make a difference?
I don't. For me personally, like you posting like a black square, like I feel to myself is
No, I
I
didn't use a hashtag because I didn't want to pollute anything
No.
important.
yeah,
I
it's
used
just
no hashtags, just my followers seeing it. So yeah,
yeah,
I
like
think that's okay. I think people talking about like people know that like you, it's not even what like Jesus. What I'm trying to say like it's like oh my god, I don't know. Shit, I had a way
Thomas
to
has drawn
explain
a
it. It's
blank.
got
it's
it's
so
yeah.
it's so
gone.
difficult to talk about.
Blank. Sorry.
Sorry.
Um,
So how do you feel about it? Does it help?
I mean, kind of, but not really. I think it's like it. Like I feel like it is the first step, but then
Yeah.
Yeah.
again, it's kind of like I just like for me, I like I kind of regretted posting it when I did. I'm kind
mm,
of like okay, like this black square doesn't really recognize any pain or suffering. It's just kind of saying it's like a little stamp. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even though like I did appreciate some people like posting, but like then the whole world posting it. I'm pretty sure most people who did post it have said things about people who of color, have done things that were mean to them, but
But do you not
but
think
don't
that would be a step in the direction of them
yeah
changing
yeah
their output on, or their
definitely
out? No, what word can I use? Changing their views on people of different races. Like you could have been like racist when you were like a teenager, but you suddenly realize when you're 20, like what
that's
the
not wasn't
fuck was
right.
I doing?
Mm-hmm.
And then you start like doing your best to, like there's former like neo Nazis who now work as activists, stuff like that.
We have yeah like I'm kind of like kind of torn between that decision. Do you know what I mean?
Mm,
Even though like I do respect it, but I'm still kind of like, do you really mean it, or do you just not, or do you want to just like not being like excluded?
yeah,
mm,
yeah, I get that.
Do you know what I mean? I'm
Mm.
kind of torn between the two.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I know there are like some celebrities who have posted it, but like
mm.
people have called them out because like they're like, yo, you were not sincere. Like you're not using your platform to raise awareness. It's just more like the trend, kind of like you were saying.
Mm.
Do you think that would be like a fear for celebrities to like to post it, or some reason some wouldn't do it? Because even if they do post it, someone will be like, "You don't mean it,"
Yeah, I think that's also a fear as well. I can also understand as well where they're coming from as well.
or like I seen one. I'm not gonna say his name, but he donated money as well, and then they were like, "Is that all you're gonna give?"
Oh yeah,
No,
I think
I feel terrible for the guy because he's got destroyed for trying to support.
and then people's backlash. Yeah.
Yeah,
People are always going to be give you
Yeah.
Yeah. No
backlash for
matter what.
everything you
Yeah,
do.
I feel like that happens with a lot of celebrities. Like like they'll make a big donation, and people will look at
Yeah,
it and be like,
Is that it?
"Sure, look at your net worth. You're worth like billions."
Did,
I'm just
didn't didn't
I'm
Bezos
thinking of
try donate
I'm thinking of
something
Jeff
before?
Bezos. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
10 billion, wasn't it, towards global warming, and people were like, "Oh, that's only like three
no, he
percent of
he,
your
he gave 2 million,
2 million."
2 million, and he's gonna be the first trillionaire in the world. Like
Oh
Yeah,
his
my
his net
god.
worth is insane.
but like, at the same
But then
time,
again, I feel like he has to
go on.
not like I'm pretty sure he's like taking orders from somebody else. Do you know what I mean?
You think?
Mm, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Like if you're worth $1 trillion and like you only give like in the millions, come on.
Well,
Someone
he's
like
not
saying
worth a trillion yet. He's like on
almost.
path to do it in the next like 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I think that it's a very very great area. You know what I mean, kind of way.
Yeah. Do you think the coronavirus outbreak has like affected this in any way?
Oh my god! I actually, it's actually really crazy. I actually had a conversation with someone saying, um, COVID-19 or the pandemic. People are kind of like a woman. She was kind of like she had a family member who actually died of COVID-19, and she was asking like my opinion on like the virus and this protest. I'm like in Ireland, I think the people are a lot more are still kind of social distancing, but in America they're not. I think it's more of like their attitude is kind of like we are being killed anyway, so what's the point?
Yeah, with social distancing, I haven't seen Thomas in about 4 months. I seen Dara for the first time in 7 months yesterday.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
seeing our friends is kind of weird.
I disagree. I think it's great. I haven't seen you in fucking forever.
Every time I try talk like that, you're just like
Fucking smart Alec over here.
Shut up. All right, go
smart
on.
ass. But yeah, no, like I think the US now are going to see like huge infection rates, but I
Yeah,
feel like
it's gonna
we're so
double.
close to getting it fixed that this might matter. Obviously it matters, but yeah, it's still worth doing if you are safe. Like you're wearing a mask, you're wearing gloves, sanitizing,
Yeah.
like staying safe.
Definitely. But like it's like that. But people still have this mindset that like we're gonna die anyway. Like which disease is gonna kill us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see that thing in the American news? There was someone said there's two viruses destroying the
Yeah.
U.S.
Yeah.
COVID-19 and racism.
Yeah.
Mm.
Which one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I think I said that in a podcast, another podcast too. But yeah.
Yeah. It was like a headline for the news, and I was like, Jesus Christ, that's some headline that they chose. Like,
Yeah. It's a very
it was like
powerful
it's
one.
true.
It is so true. Yeah.
Like to look at it as a virus is like Jesus.
Yeah, because it contaminates, it spreads so fast, and like we can't see it. Like COVID-19, like we can't like
Exactly. Yeah.
even though we can't see COVID-19, it's still affecting people a lot more.
No,
Yeah.
of course.
You know.
It's a
So
very good way to explain it. Like,
yeah,
Mm.
I think we've kind of covered a lot of stuff in today's podcast. Is there anything else you want to talk
We
about?
should definitely talk about how Irish people can help, where to donate, what to watch. You know,
We can link
yeah, we
those in
should.
the
Yeah,
description.
we can link those in description.
of course.
Yeah, and also
Definitely.
I have
We'll
some links
definitely leave
on
some
my
links to
video
charities and
as
stuff
well
like
if
that.
people wanna go there.
Okay.
Of course.
If people want to keep up with you and they want to follow you, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on YouTube at Yaya and G. You can also follow me on Instagram at just Yaya Hranda and all my other social media from Twitter to Facebook.
Okay.
Of course.
Oh, grand.
And so, what kind of content do you post normally? It's normally
I
with you and your kid.
Yeah, we normally post vlogs, fun food challenges, just things that just spread love and laughter. I'm all about love and laughter.
And positivity.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
That's such a good
that's the way
message.
to be. Yeah, that's a
Exactly.
very good way to be.
So I feel like people come onto YouTube just to kind of have a break from the real life, and I
Yeah.
just don't like posting quite dark, negative content. I kind of like to make people kind of like laugh and just smile just for a brief moment.
Yeah, that's a very good mindset. That
Yeah.
is a very good way to have your channel. Like,
It's a great way to live. You know,
Thank you.
Yeah.
make people other people happy.
Because
You know?
life is
Exactly.
stressful as it is. There's no point adding more stress. Just
exactly. Yeah.
It's true. It's very true.
Extremely true.
So, obviously, this was like a change from our very upbeat episodes. But no, it was something like serious,
we
and
wanted
obviously
to,
we
you know.
want to talk about
Yeah,
it.
this is something we needed to talk about. Like,
I feel like the more we talk, the less taboo these conversations will become, and it almost like a normal conversation. You
Mm.
know,
Yeah.
yeah,
which is important. Just
So,
to
like,
do-
with our podcast and with life, like, not everything's gonna be happy. Sometimes you have to
yeah.
be really serious, and today was obviously one of those days. But yeah, we got through it, and I hope it was educational to people. And if you are
Yeah.
a bit of a racist and it changes your mind, that's good. Just don't do it, man.
Don't
Cop on with
just
you.
be nice. Just be nice. It costs nothing to be nice. Nothing
Exactly.
at all.
exactly. We're all
Yeah.
the same. We bleed the
We're
same.
exact same.
So
We're all part of the human race, you know.
definitely,
Exactly.
like there is
The only race.
just one race. That's all it is.
Exactly.
That's it.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
thank you very much for listening, guys. And
Yeah. Thank you for having me, guys. I
Yeah,
really
thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much for coming on.
Yeah,
This has
thank
been,
you so
it's been
much for
great.
coming.
You
Yeah,
know.
it's been incredible.
Perfect. Thank you for having me.
No bother.
Remember to like and subscribe. Tell your grandma
yeah,
and take her handy.
subscribe. Good luck.